Yes, the use of scarcity can be a dirty, rotten tactic if it's used by a dirty, rotten person to sell a dirty, rotten product or service. But if you're in the business of delivering value, if you understand your customers' headaches, obstacles, aspirations, and desires, and you meet someone and they have a pain, it's up to you to use the assets at your disposal to help them come to a decision faster. If they can afford you, if what you're offering is within their reality, they're not going to go into massive amounts of debt. It's a relatively easy decision, yet they are facing extreme indecision for whatever fear or mental blocker or perceived lack that they're facing. It would be unethical of you to not use what you have at your disposal to help them make that decision. That's from an ethical perspective, but let's look at this from a purely commercial, transactional perspective. If you're selling a complex product or service, it usually begins with a conversation, a meeting of some sort of consultation. That could be an hour-long discussion or a strategy session. Guess what? Someone's going to pay for that. Who's going to pay for that 1 hour? The buyer is going to pay for that 1 hour. That's going to somehow appear in their fees no matter what. And that is because if I do the call, it's going to cost me time and therefore it's going to cost me money. If I recruit someone else to do it, I hire a consultant. It costs me money to find them. It costs me money to train them. It costs me money to keep them. It costs me money to give them all the equipment that they need to do the strategy call in the first place. If they have that call, let's put a value on it of say $300, someone's got to pay for that. And the person that's most likely to pay for that is usually going to be the buyer. That's how business works. Now, if the buyer can't make a decision and they have to have a second call, who's going to pay for that? The buyer. And if they still can't make a decision and they have to have a third call, who's going to pay for that? The buyer. Now, if each one of these calls is $300 plus another $300 is $600 plus another $300 is $900. This is money that someone is going to have to spend, right? Someone's going to have to pay for these calls, right? Now, if you are using bonuses to get a decision faster from someone who clearly needs you, guess what? You don't have to claw that money back from the client. In fact, you can offer a cheaper service across the board because your sales and marketing model is that much more efficient. Indeed, what you can do is you can take the value of that second or third meeting, like say $600 worth of extra time that you could spend convincing. You can take that $600 worth of time, transform it into a stronger, more meaningful service, maybe an extra layer of onboarding, maybe a little bit more one-on-one time, or package up some knowledge that you have into a product. You can give that to the person as a bonus for making a speedy decision. That's why when we talk about scarcity, the best form of scarcity is to say, if you make a decision today, I can give you these extra things. And I can't give it to you next time, or I can't give it to you the time after that. And the reason why is because you will be spending your way, whether you know it or not, through these bonuses by having a second or a third meeting. You'll be wasting your money through your indecision. So if I bring this back to the ethical piece, I could say, yeah, sure, take your time. Let's have a second meeting. Let's have a third meeting. Let's have a fourth meeting. Let's have a fifth meeting. Let's have a sixth meeting. But you, as the buyer, will pay for that. Or I can say, well, if you can make a decision today, I can add all these extra things to the equation and we can start tomorrow. I can add some, so I can de-risk it with some money back guarantees and some other elements so the person is never feeling like they're caught out. They don't feel like they have the pressure. If it's not working out, they can walk away and we get to stay friends. I can have all these de-risking elements, but at the very front of the conversation, I want to get to a decision faster. If it is the right type of person with the type of problem that we can solve, we can see that it's not going to be a financial burden. They are going to get an amazing outcome, a high return on investment. There's a clear cost of inaction. If we don't use everything at our disposal to help them make a decision faster and reward them in doing so, what we're otherwise doing is punishing them by allowing them to continue to make mistakes, live a half life, or suffer a pain that they're suffering, or they sign up after 3 or 4 decisions and we punish them again by charging them more. This is why I believe that scarcity in marketing through the use of bonuses is ethical.